disrespectful, and it's disgusting, quite frankly, because clearly there are liberal. I said the comments are disgusting.
Doesn't matter. It's indirectly. You're saying what you cannot say directly. We all know this. Yes, we all know this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Mr. Brock, in fairness, I'm not going to rule on the point of order, but we discussed decorum earlier. If we could avoid, words like that.
Gang, what's up? Aaron here with my girl Sweet Pea. The other one's sleeping in the back. So we've got James Maloney here. He's the chair of the Justice Committee, and he is Jabba the Hutt for these things. We've got Larry Brock, Andrew Lawton. I assure you, this committee meeting goes off the rails, never gets back on. Andrew Lawton's going to kick it off. We'll get straight into Larry Brock. And once that happens, it never gets back on course. Let's take a peek. These committee meetings are wild. Aaron, Kennedy, and Looney, like, share, subscribe. Let's check it out. Right, Sweepy? Right? Let's go.
I would hope the government, in its submissions and in its comments here, would answer the question of what precisely they think it is doing, other than alienating people of faith, to have someone who's now a minister of the Crown look to Canadians and say that they should be prosecuted if they dare express a religious belief the government finds objectionable. And I would also ask the government why it has continued to respond to these questions with silence. Silence when the media was asking, silence when members of Parliament in question period were asking, and silence now when I'm asking, and these members are curiously glued to their phones, rather than deal with the fact that they are prepared to mount, with the support of the Bloc Québécois, a full-scale assault on religious freedom in this country. We have had tens of thousands of people that have reached out to us, that have signed petitions, that have sent emails. Members of Parliament from all parties have been receiving phone calls and emails and visits to our office for days now, because this is a red line. This is the government that was not that long ago entertaining stripping charitable status away from houses of worship, and is now deciding to take away religious freedom protections in the criminal code to protect people of faith who believe in good faith in religious scriptures from prosecution. It is not only shameful that this amendment has even been considered by a government that pretends to speak for Canadians, but it is all the more shameful that the representatives of the Liberals here on this committee do not have the courage of their convictions to state on the record what they are going to do.
You finished? Okay, thank you. Mr. Brock.
Well, thank you, Chair. And to further my colleague, Mr. Lawton's comments, and this is, I think, a direct response to Mr. Housefather's comments that we're only members of the Justice Committee. Well, if anyone actually believes that for a second, that is just garbage. They take a position based on policy and direction directly from the Prime Minister's office, directly from the Justice Minister. And to have the Parliamentary Secretary for the Minister of Justice and the Attorney General claim somehow she's immune from articulating a position is absolutely disrespectful. And it's disgusting, quite frankly, because clearly there are liberal. I said the comments are disgusting.
Doesn't matter. It's indirectly. You're saying what you cannot say directly. We all know this. Yes, we all know this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Mr. Brock, in fairness, I'm not going to rule on the point of order, but we discussed decorum earlier. If we could avoid, words like that, it might not be a bad idea to make the meeting run smoothly. You can make your point without.
But in any event, we all know what the Liberal Party's position is on this. Unnamed, numerous Liberal sources have confirmed to numerous news agencies that this Liberal government was so desperate to get Bill C-9 back into the House and becoming law that they were prepared to abandon their long-held principles on this particular issue. This issue regarding the removal of the religious defense is not the first time this government has heard of it. 2 years ago, in 2023, a Bloc member, I don't believe it was my colleague, Monsieur Fortin, but another Bloc colleague brought a private member's bill that did not pass first reading because there was no support. No support in the House, no support from the Liberal government. And now we have Bill C-9, and Bill C-9 did not remove it. The Minister of Justice did not give instruction to Ms. Breeze, Ms. Wells, or Ms. Alley to draft terms that would remove that religious defense. And just because I'm surmising here, I'm going to ask the question, because this is not protected by solicitor-client privilege. Your advice back to the minister would be, and I'm not going to get there, but did Minister Fraser inform you that he wanted to remove that religious defense? Yes or no?
Mr. Chair, if I may, what I will say is Bill C-9 does not, as drafted or introduced, contain a proposal that would withdraw or
I'm aware
remove
of
the
that.
defense.
Did Minister Fraser, during the drafting of this bill, during all of your consultations, maybe not you yourself, but other members in the department, including the minister himself, perhaps even Ms. Latanzio, did anyone from a political entity, whether it's the minister or the parliamentary secretary, give you instructions to explore the possibility of removing that religious defense? Yes or no?
I think the way that I can be helpful to the committee is to clarify that both the communications that we give to the minister and the instructions that we receive from the minister are subject to solicitor-client privilege, and I am not able to share any more on this than we have already.
The instructions he gives you is not protected. So I disagree with you on that interpretation. And perhaps if the minister, who obviously is probably following this, because he had a very, very uncomfortable week in the House of Commons, flip-flopping, not being clear with Canadians, backing himself into a corner, trying to appease the Bloc Québécois, who made it abundantly clear that you pull out of this secret agreement that we had, don't expect us to support any provision of Bill C-9. And that panicked the minister. That panicked the prime minister. That panicked these four members of the Justice Committee. So now they're playing coy. Now we want to hear from the committee. Well, to my colleague, Mr. Lawton's point, if that was truly genuine, they wouldn't have canceled meetings where we had witnesses lined up. And perhaps we could have explored by hearing from stakeholders as to whether or not this is an appropriate removal. But that was taken away from us. That was stripped from this Justice Committee, which I find deplorable. But it's clear the Liberals will do whatever it takes to pass this, even though it was never their idea, it was never their intention 2 years ago, it was never their intention during the hearing of the numerous witnesses that we've heard, until it became abundantly clear that they would be going into a winter break without the passage of Minister Fraser's signature piece of criminal legislation, the only piece of criminal legislation that he had brought forward to be studied at committee since the election, almost 8 months ago. So I wanted to put that on the record, Chair. In a shocking display at the Justice Committee, former Liberal Chair Mark Miller claimed to Derek Ross, Executive Director of the Christian Legal Fellowship, that portions of the Bible are hateful. Miller then doubled down on X, writing, "I say this in particular because I am a Christian," which is in itself mind-boggling. It's dangerous for politicians to believe they can use statutes to sanitize Scripture they don't even properly understand. Criminal law is the state's most violent instrument. Let that sink in. It should not be swung at the human soul. The Bible is the most banned book in history precisely because it is powerful and points to an authority beyond the reach of government. A government that fears religious speech is not fighting extremism, it's fighting competition. And what better way to summarize the actions of this Liberal government over the last long 10 years?
Point
of order. Mr. Fortin. Mr. Chairman, I don't know what the rules are, but can my Conservative colleague, for whom I have a great deal of respect, is going to be taking up our time, all our time? There are 4 Conservative members in principle, but now I think there are 6 here, or 7. Well, I think, apart from those 4 who sit on this committee, well, I understand that my amendment does not suit the Conservatives, but I think that a minimum of respect would be in order and would allow me to work. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So is your objection to them sitting at the table or to the comments he was making?
Make any comments.
Mr. Fortin?
I would ask, Mr. Chair, if you could do what is necessary and perhaps ask our colleagues to sit somewhere else and not come and sit right here.
I mean, is there...
Is there no rule or regulation on the number of people? Because these Conservative colleagues, you know, if they all wanted to sit here, well, but Mr.
Here, but you're not obliged to sit on my files, and your colleague neither.
I think maybe
No, mais je comprends, mais moi,
Mr. Janice. Okay.
I understand, but I'm a member of the committee.
Members of Parliament are entitled to sit around this table, but I would request that those of you sitting near Mr. Fortin show him some courtesy and respect and allow him some space so that he does have room to do what he needs to do as a regular member of the committee.
If I may, Mr. Chair, because I feel like some of these comments were directed to me. I made no comments to the member. I sat down.
I don't think...
And if I might finish, as you said, members are entitled to sit here. How many spaces does my colleague need for his work? If he could establish that. This was an open chair. I don't see the problem with sitting in an open chair.
Really? That's the discussion you want to have? Okay.
I don't. I didn't raise this discussion.
Okay. I was hoping we could deal with this in a professional and courteous manner. Technically, yes, members are allowed to sit around the table. If you want to sit beside Mr. Fortin, you're free to do so. There's also chairs on the other side of the table. You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to sit over there or sit elsewhere. All I'm asking you to do, sir, as a courtesy, be courteous to Mr. Fortin. If he needs a little bit more elbow room, we're going to be here for a long time. You can argue this nonsense.
I'm not going to argue it. I just reject the premise that it's being uncourteous to sit in an open chair.
I didn't suggest you were being uncourteous. I just suggested that we respect Mr. Fortin's wishes. I'm going to end it there. This conversation is ridiculous, frankly. Mr. Brock, you have the floor.
Thank you. I'm prepared to cede my time at this time, Chair.
All right, gang, we'll wrap it up right there. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Bloc Québécois and their move in that committee meeting. It's so outrageous what is going on. Hit the like, share, subscribe, get notified. Come and watch one of the live shows. Aaron, Canadian Looney, thank you for watching the video. Me and Sweet Pea are going to go and watch a movie or do something else. It's Saturday night. Have a great weekend, guys. Catch you in the next video. Ciao for now.